Courthouse Square in Waverly, Tennessee. Austin Taylor with you for the 2021st edition of the Christmas Parade put on by Humphreys County and the Chamber of Commerce. And as every year we do, we carry all the festivities live here on WQNV. Joining me once again this year is the only other person in radio that can probably out-talk me, Coach Bradford, the retired Coach Bradford. How are you doing, Coach?
Oh, I am doing well.
And retirement doing well for you?
Oh, yes. Staying busy, I got enough other things going on. I'm not getting bored.
Well, actually, I just found out talking to a coach before we came on the air that you've been doing some substitution with band class down at Lakeview, right?
At Lakeview, and I've done a little at the high school. So, Mr. Bullington asked me to sign up to sub so he'd have a real music teacher when he's not there.
Well, that worked out well. Didn't like that. Listen, we're really excited. A great crowd here today. They had a lot of festivities going on around the Courthouse Square and down the main street, all the way from the First Baptist Church at 300 East Main Street into the parking lot of the Dollar Tree. A lot of food vendors here. A lot of, I don't want to say yard sale. A lot of charities have come out. They've set up booths and they're selling items. The money is going to a specific charity and like that. But I think the real popular thing right now with the kiddies is the artificial snow machine.
Yes, we've got snow on the courthouse.
Yes, we do. They've set up some artificial snow machines on the overhang of the main entrance going into the county courthouse. And I think about every 15 minutes or so, they're coming out and they're firing it up, and when they do, it's like a magnet to the kids. They come from all over the place.
Well, we've got some walking around with snow on their head.
Yeah, and so it's really kind of a cool thing, and a great time. If you're not out here yet, everything should kick off at 1 o'clock, and that's never on time. So you may have a little time still to get here, but finding a parking place may be difficult. Coach found that out the hard way. Found a nice, snug little place to park, and then I asked him to go get something for me. And is your wife speaking to you yet?
Oh, she's speaking to me. I don't know about you.
But anyway, this should be a good time today. We've got a lot of participants. We've got a list from the Chamber of Commerce on who's going to be here today, and we'll be kicking things off here in a few moments. I hear sirens and I see lights, so we ought to be getting ready to a little bit shorter route this time. Normally the route begins at the junior high school down towards the far end of Main Street, but because of the flood damage and things like that, they've shortened the route. It now begins at the First Baptist Church at 300 East Main Street, and so that means when it starts off, it gets here a little bit quicker than normal for us. Usually we're sitting around here waiting for an hour and a half, but this ought to be interesting today.
They were asking me where to take the fire trucks, and I said, you go to the Baptist Church in Cooley and Maine.
There you go. That works. And looking down the participants for today's parade, we've got a lot of civic organizations. We've got the 8th grade different attendants. The different attendants from the county fair will be here, the winners of those. And if I'm not mistaken, Coach promises me that the Waverly Central High School Marching Tiger Band will be here as well. Is that correct?
They will be here.
And marching, hopefully playing at the same time.
Maybe they'll play when they come by us here, so we can hear them.
Before we get too far into this, let me do a legal ID. You're listening to WQNV, AM 1060 and 93.5 FM. Today's parade coverage is being brought to you by the following businesses and...
Vintage Treasure on the Courthouse Square. First Federal Bank locations in Waverly, New Johnsport, and McEwen. Humphreys County Government, Jesse Wallace County Executive. Exit Now Realty with offices in McEwen. The City of Waverly by the Fraser Mayor. First Bank on Main Street, Waverly. And State Farm Insurance Agent Lynn Paston. We appreciate all these 5 sponsors covering today's coverage.
And we do appreciate very much them making it possible for us to do the remote from the county courthouse. And I'll be honest with you, from a business point of view, it's getting a little tight at times with everything going on since August the 21st, but slowly things are getting back to normal. Lynn Pascal's office, which was State Farm, was wiped out, and he's back up and going full bore now, and many of the other businesses that were damaged and are opening up. I understand last night that they got all the light service back on, the internal lights on, at Cash Savers, so they're that much closer to reopening the cash saver as well. So
they're hoping to get open this month.
And I understand that because, November and December is like their Christmas season in the grocery business. It works out well. They've blocked off Highway 13 now. So if you're coming down Highway 13, you're going to have to find an alternative to get into downtown Waverly. And that usually means that once they block that we're about to begin with the parade and activities. And we should be seeing the color guard and banner coming along here in just a few moments. Coach, are you ready for the holiday season? Or?
Yes, I am.
Good.
With a 16-month-old granddaughter baby, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, the first thing I found out about grandkids was the first thing I found out about my own kids was that you go out and you buy all these expensive toys and educational things, and they sit around and play with the paper bowls and boxes. They like those. But they're at this age, it's cool because they get excited about it, and I think that's the key to it.
Of course, I have another one I've never seen. She lives in Lafayette, Louisiana.
You haven't seen that one yet?
No.
Really? Yeah,
I have my 2 fur babies. I can't go that far away.
Oh, okay. Well, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. And of course, and every year we always like to take a moment or two and to again thank everyone here in Humphreys County who takes time to participate in the parade. You just don't get up Saturday morning and hitch a trailer on the back of the truck and drive down the parade route. There's a lot of planning that goes to that. Everything from people who are going to be riding with you on the parade to the fact that what you want it to be, whether you want to be a decorated float or a theme or something like that. So we appreciate the time and the effort that people put in and these different organizations put in to doing these parades.
I know we spent 2 hours last night washing fire trucks.
Well, yeah, it's because y'all want to make it look good. And last year, y'all had a chance to debut your new logo, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Our little yellow jacket on our trucks.
Yeah, so that was cool last year. Any surprises from you guys this year?
Not that I know of.
Well, with the lighting of the Christmas tree here in Waverly last Thursday evening, and, of course, the parade today, we're officially kicking off the holiday season here in Waverly. And as always, we want to encourage you to shop local. I mean, I know it's easy to pull up the internet and order something from wherever and bring it in, but let's take a glance and see if we can find something here locally in these businesses that exist and conduct business here in Humphreys County. And the cool thing is the sale tax stays here in the county, which works out real well. So let's do that. And don't forget, we've got Waverly, McEwen, and New Johnsonville businesses that you can use to shop at. I'm hearing sirens. I'm seeing flashing lights, Coach. Are you?
I see some red lights too. So we got fire trucks coming.
Okay, so we're officially on the move here, and I'm looking for the color guard with the banners, but I don't see them yet. So they got to be there someplace.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, one of our sponsors, Vintage Treasures,
right across
has already
the street.
got my wife in her pocket. She told her she was making a bid on 900 pounds of Legos.
900 pounds of Legos.
And my wife is a Lego maniac, so she's been 900 pounds. We probably got that much in one room of the house.
Speaking of Christmas, you want some unique and great gifts? Stop by the Vintage Treasures located on Courthouse Square here in downtown Waverly. They got a wide selection. Hey, if you like I am, of course my record collection has now gone the way of the creek. But if you're really into vintage records and vinyl records, they got a wonderful selection of vinyl records in there. And music memorabilia and all kinds of, if you've got a particular collection of glass or plates and like that, and you're missing something or looking for something, good possibility they can lay their hands on it. So stop by and talk to Vintage Treasures and check it out because they're a great gift-giving place to be. And
it's a unique gift that you won't find in the big box stores.
Yeah, I mean, that's they've got everything from Tom's vending machines to Coca-Cola machines to iron skillets, you name it, it's there. Check out Vintage Treasure on the Courthouse Square. I hear sirens. I hear sirens everywhere. And that means we're about to kick things off here at the 2021 edition of the Humphreys County Christmas Parade. And look here, in the lead car, we've got Chief Gillespie, I believe.
Grant Gillespie.
and Yeah, that's the only place to ride in the parade is at the beginning. You see, that way you can stop and see the rest of it as it comes in where you're going to go. You don't have to worry about being behind everybody else.
And, of course, Waverly's got their vintage fire truck, their parade truck out today.
Yeah, I understand that Mayor Frazier had them polishing that thing all week long, to be honest with you, as if it gets any dirty in that display case they got for a courthouse. And that looks like
Chris's new truck.
Chris has a new truck. Sheriff Chris Davis is leading off with a brand new police vehicle. His got totaled in the flood and got wiped away.
They're getting several new F-150s for the Sheriff's Department.
And, of course, here comes the color guard in, which is made up of a local Boy Scout troop. And of course, the vintage fire truck. Coach, take a moment and tell us about the vintage fire truck. And, of course, on the vintage fire truck is Mayor Buddy Frazier.
It's about a 1936 Dodge.
And I like it because it looks like the ones that you always got from Matchbox and like that when you were growing up.
Oh, yes, the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones. Now, this is the City of Waverly Fire Department. This is what, a tanker truck, Coach? Or is it
that is a pumper.
Pumper truck?
Pumper with a step-through pump panel.
And you said that was unique. That was really a good design on those because it made it easier to go one side or the other, right?
Oh, I love working off the step-throughs because you can see when you're pumping on both sides.
And, of course, now, is this the same brand of truck?
Same style of truck, yes.
Yeah. Waverly Fire Department well represented here this morning. We appreciate those guys. And, you know, you don't think about it, but you get out in the middle of the winter dealing with water. It's got to get a little on the cold side, didn't it, Coach?
Oh, quite. We keep our trucks in a heated bay so they won't freeze. And one of our new trucks was a demonstration model up north, so it's actually got a heater on the pump.
Oh, cool.
So the water won't freeze.
Now, this is the Humphreys County Fire Department.
District 2.
District 2.
That's the one across from the hospital.
And, of course, they've got their truck. And what do they got today for us?
That's one of their pumper trucks.
Well, very good. That's a totally different design. I love the panels on the side and stuff.
Yeah, that's the side pump panel.
And, of course, we've got the Humphreys County Fire Department Station 2 wishing us a very Merry Christmas. And now, what is this, the white truck coming up, Coach?
That's District 6's pumper. District 6 is out at Buffalo.
And for those of you who don't know this, besides being a soccer coach and a band director, Coach, tell them what else you are as well when it comes to fire departments.
Fire department. All right. I'm an officer on New Johnsonville's fire department.
So when Coach talks, it's with authority. He knows what he's talking about when he's describing these tanker trucks.
23 years, I think, so far.
Is that all?
And I've got some on the fire department that got me done. Butch Snyder's been on the department for nearly 40 years.
Wow. Unbelievable. And I'll be honest with you, driving this next truck, which looks like one that would deal with a brush fire or something like that, it looks like we got a Santa Claus clone driving the thing.
That's Keith Morissette.
That's Keith Morissette.
That's Keith Morissette.
He definitely, he could rent himself out for Santa Claus. I tell you what, he looks fantastic.
And that is District 6's brush truck.
Yeah.
And then behind that, you have our illustrious Chief Dale Allen in our command car.
Yeah, and nice command car.
When we got that, he's got it set up with a full command center in the back. He's even got radio, so we've got we can have full communication system out of the back of his car.
Well, you had a chance to use that recently, didn't you?
Yesterday.
And, of course, with the yellow jacket and the logo, that means the New Johnsonville Fire Department is rolling by at this time. Squad 1.
That's squad truck. That's a mini pumper.
Yeah.
Got 300-gallon tank on it, 1,250 gallon a minute. And you see my buddies waving at me.
I see that, yeah. And engine 4.
And engine 4 is our new engine. It's got a 1,500 gallon a minute pump on it. We can put out a lot of water with that engine. Outstanding.
Now, this is the moment that I personally wait for every year, because this item has been on my wish list for Christmas for years.
Yes.
It's County Executive Jesse Wallace in his vintage.
It's a Willis.
Jeep. It's a Willis Jeep, no power whatsoever. You got a steering wheel on that thing the size of a wagon wheel. No power steering, no power brakes, and a nice little narrow wheelbase. This is a replica of the Jeep that won the Second World War. It is outstanding.
It's not a replica.
That's true, yeah. Well, it wasn't used in the war. It was just manufactured.
It's Army surplus, yeah.
Army surplus.
But it's a nice Jeep. I'd love to have one.
And he's got it decked out very nice. And, of course, also we've got the Humphreys County Rescue Squad here as well.
You notice they tried hitting me a while ago with a.
Yeah, I saw them. They were all doing the rock paper scissors to see who got to take a shot at you there. I saw that and everything. Of course, the rescue squad is always on duty, and you never know when they're going to be called out like that. And also, I think we got some family members as well coming up with the rescue squad as well.
Yeah, we got LTD broadband in front of us now,
which of course is everywhere and like that. And up next, we have, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know who this is. This is Force, is what it says, but I don't recognize. And I think this is the last minute addition, and this is kind of cool. A lot of kids throwing candy. That's all that matters. They're going to be very popular any way you look at it, like that. It's Force Athletics is the name of the organization.
I think that's one of the new gyms here in town.
And they work with if I understand it correctly, they have stuff available from youngsters all the way up to adults and seniors. So, this is obviously the youth of the organization.
And they've got two trailers.
Two trailers, and they're throwing candy, and they're doing flips. Wow. Did you see that? The two young ladies doing the flips?
Yeah, don't ask me to do it.
No, I don't think so.
Those are scary. We had to life flight a girl that was doing a handstand the other day and broke her arm.
Well, on asphalt, that's guts right there, but that's all there's to it.
Oh yes, because if you fall, there's nothing to pad your landing.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And of course, this is the American Legion post. What post, Coach?
Let's see.
34.
34.
And of course, that is the Hickman-Patterson post. And these guys are they have been extremely active since the flood. I'm just going to tell you this up front. The American Legion has been working with veterans around the clock since the flood to ensure that they were helped and that they were eligible, they had the paperwork filled out correctly so they get the proper benefits. And they've done an outstanding job, and besides serving meals and everything else. So just kudos to the American Legion and the Legion Auxiliary as well.
And they're keeping the Veterans Day Parade going here in the county too, which is a fantastic thing. There's not many left that are doing that.
Now, Meriwether Lewis Electric Cooperative is right in front of us, one of their big bucket trucks. And of course, with LAC, with Meriwether Lewis Connect as well, they do broadband across the county, so outstanding. We appreciate the great service. Every time you walk in and flip on a switch, think Meriwether Lewis Electric Cooperative. They are a co-op, so we're co-owner in them. And here comes Scooby-Doo. One of my favorite cartoons growing up, and even to this day, to be honest with you. And they are just, I love Scooby-Doo and all the different reincarnations of it. They just keep bringing it back.
Scooby snack.
What kills me is that dog has been around for 40-something years. This is David Wolf, who's the circuit judge here in the area, and he's got a nice little Jeep. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that is a 2006 Jeep Wrangler. And how you like that for identification? I'll do Jeeps. I'll do Jeeps. You do fire trucks. And of course, what would a parade be without Cub Scouts?
Yeah, we've got a Cub Scouts on a 45-foot trailer, and this is packed 575. And of course, they're throwing out candy and everything else.
And right behind them is little mini tractors.
The little John Deere tractors. One's pink and one's the traditional John Deere green.
Now up next is one of our winners from the... Now, of course, we didn't have a county fair this year, but we had a fair on the square. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Dana Lee. And she's coming along on a nice little Corvette. And, Coach, I'm not familiar. That's one of the newer Corvette models. I'm not familiar what that is.
It's just a Corvette. That's all you need to say is vet.
And, of course, this is the Forbidden Shields with a 20-foot trailer with a Christmas theme. A little Santa and his sleigh and reindeers, and Mrs. Claus makes an appearance. And along with the Grinch, if I'm not mistaken. They're one of the motorcycles.
And of course, you can tell they've got 6 motorcycles with them.
Can you tell they ride motorcycles, the Forbidden Shields? And this is...
There's Cindy Lou Who.
Yes, it is. This is a nice little group.
I think you can pick up some ambient noise here.
I think so. I love this. Now, the Forbidden Shields are not they're a motorcycle group that's open to all. They're not specifically for a particular make or model of motorcycles.
And coming up behind them is the Waverly Central Marching Tiger Band. But they're not moving quite as quickly.
And I hate to tell you this, but that elf is smoking. that elf is obviously picked up some bad habits. That's all. Smoking while riding on a motorcycle. And now, I'm just going to tell you this. I was never in the band or in a band organization, but my best friend in high school was in the band his entire 4 years that he was there. And he said one year they stuck him behind the diesel trucks. He says you haven't had any fun at all until you march for about 4 miles trying to play an instrument with exhaust fumes. So there's a big gap between the motorcycles and the band, simply so you can hear them, as well as they get a chance to get a little fresh air.
Of course, I'd rather have the diesel trucks in front of me. When we went to the band I was in, went to the Cherry Blossom Festival, and they had the horses in the front of the parade.
Oh, ouch. That is not even close to being funny. What can you tell me about the Waverly Central High School Marching Tigers this year, Coach?
Well, their program this year was abbreviated on the football field because about the time they were getting the show put together, they lost the field.
And they were joking at one time. They were thinking about doing something with water sports or something like that. So,
and their program this year was a tribute to first responders.
And cool.
Although they did do most of their playing from the sidelines and the stands, every game they recognized first responders.
Under the direction of
Jody Bullington and Clint Rawls.
This is your Waverly Central High School Marching Tigers, and I'm going to tell you, I love the sound they have. They always have such a good, solid sound. And, of course, kicking off with We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And I believe the flag team is in front. Am I right, Coach?
The Guard, yes. They call them the Guard now. It used to be the Flags.
The Guard, really? Coming out of service, they're not a Guard, but I appreciate them trying. Yeah, they're going on march time. Come on, guys. Give me another one. Great-looking group. This. You love the uniforms.
Get Kimberly Hunt's attention and get her to do a roll-off for us.
That would be nice. We'd appreciate it. And, of course, the band. There we go.
There we go.
Jingle Bell Rock? Not for sure. No, Wish You a Merry Christmas. And of course, they're now did they go ahead and participate in the different tournaments and stuff like that this year as well?
They did not. They could not put a show together to go to the competitions this year. So it's 2 years in a row between COVID last year and the flood this year. In fact, I think this is the first time their trailer's been out because where it was parked, it got flooded.
Wow. This is a trailer and truck from the Waverly United Methodist Church, and they've actually carrying their old sign on the back. They just recently replaced their sign with a more digital, updated sign, and they've got the old sign on the back of the trailer. And as always, they're very popular because they're throwing out candy. I like that.
Oh, yes. And we've got Groot behind them.
Yes, we do.
From Guardians of the Universe.
Guardians of the Universe. Yes, we do. On stilts, my friends. You haven't lived. And
then we should have Judge Lockhart Nash in a 1931. I'm trying to figure out what kind of car it is.
Oh, I love this. Are you ready for this? Here we go. A 1931 Ford, not an A.
It's a Woody.
It's a Woody. It is. Yes, it is. And it is awesome. Well preserved, and I love these old vintage cars like this. This one is in the configuration of a delivery or an ice or a grocery truck delivery, and it is in a great. It runs smooth, nice and quiet. I like that.
Yeah, they took the Model Ts and made everything out of them,
and which has really made them very versatile. Up next, we've got what, Coach?
The baby Miss Fairest of the Fair, Miss Hadelin Chapel,
and she looks well. I think she just wants the candy. She's not wanting to throw it any. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got the baby's in the lap of Mama.
There you go.
In the rocking chair.
I know, but he keeps digging into the candy bag.
And of course, smart kid. Yeah.
And of course, up next is one of my favorite organizations, which of course is the Jeeps of Humphreys County. And I love this where they go several Jeeps. And leading the way is a 98, and maybe a 97 Jeep Wrangler. And with a cloth top, and behind that is a more modern Jeep Wrangler, but it's still pre-Italians taking over because they've got the subdued handles on the doors. That's how you can tell the difference on the age of a Jeep. And up next is one that these days is getting rare, but has not been real popular among Jeep enthusiasts for years. And the reason why is because it has the square headlights. Jeeps always had round headlights until about a short stint in the late 80s, early 90s. They went to the square headlights, and enthusiasts weren't overly happy with them, but they're rare these days. They're worth money.
You know, it looks like a Bronco.
Yes, it does. That is a good point.
And now they got the Broncos back out.
And, of course, up next in his Rubicon is Randall Anderson, who is driving. Again, part of the Jeeps of Humphreys County. And
they changed their name then, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They used to be called, yeah.
Topless
they're still topless in Tennessee. They still are. Which really threw us off last year. And just a nice variety of Jeeps and like that. Of course, up the very end is a four-door modern Jeep, the modern configuration. And, of course, now they've got the Gladiator 02, which is a combination Jeep pickup truck.
Yeah, that's a Wrangler Unlimited. It's a bigger one.
Yeah, it's a four-door with extended cab or the extended back on the back. And this up next is the Three Rivers Hospital float. And, of course, they've been serving the community since 1961, which would make it 60 years, I believe. Am I right?
You know, these last 2 years, the people that work at that hospital have been put through the ringer with the epidemic and everything that's been going on.
Well, not to mention, on top of that, the flood. They had a lot to do with the flood as well. And we were glad to see that they had time to put together a float this year. And up next, Coach, who do we have?
Humphreys County Right to Life. And, of course, they've got Children Are a Gift from God on the side.
And if they're not, I'm going to be honest with you, in the news today with the Supreme Court deciding with a lot of the Louisiana law on the abortion rights, they're on the verge of, hopefully they're on the verge of really accomplishing some major things in that area. And up next, we got one of the fairest of the fairs, I believe. The freshman attendant,
attendants from Waverly Central.
Yeah, which is Avery Rollins and Ella Gardner. Yeah. And I love the car they're driving in. That is is that an RT? It's a Dodge. It's a Dodge Charger. That's nice, but
it doesn't look like a Dodge Charger to me. I'm a 60s guy.
And I understand where you're coming from. Polar Express. Who created that for us today?
Let's see. That's Southern Cleaners.
Very good. And everybody's very neat, clean, and tidy, including the reincarnation of the conductor who was voiced by Tom Hanks in the movie. Yes, he was. And I believe
that says class of 2025 from Waverly Central on the back of the train.
Very cool. Happy holidays. Mm-hmm. We've got another little car coming along here, and again another little Charger. Yeah. And I think this is the attendance.
Sophomore attendance.
I think these are the homecoming floats. These are the ones that we didn't get to see because of homecoming.
Yes, that's what it is.
They've taken the homecoming floats and they reworked them for Christmas. That's what it is. And how you like that, Coach? I caught on. I ain't that dense.
No.
The reason why I recognize it is because of the next one, which was a Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
And they reworked it into the Snoopy's doghouse that's decked out for Christmas. He's gone commercial.
Yeah, I like the big Dodge pulling the float.
Yeah, there you go. And that is actually a really good job of recreating that scene from the Disney, the classic, the Christmas special. Yeah. And, of course, you're listening to WQNV, AM 1060, 93.5 FM. A little bit of a surprise here because this is not on the listing.
Yes.
And what it is they've taken the homecoming floats, which were in Titan Stadium, because we had a homecoming game in Titan Stadium, and they're letting the hometown crowd see it, which I think is just awesome.
And then we have our junior class attendants, Samantha Wilson and Sadie Goss.
Right.
And Sadie was one of my soccer players.
Was she really?
Oh, yes.
And to be honest with you, I really feel bad. I don't recognize what they're riding. It's a convertible. It's a Chrysler, but I don't know what make or model it is.
It's just got the regular Chrysler logo across the back. So.
And now we have a recreation here of a classic scene from Christmas. Santa taking off there from his workshop. And
on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer and Vixen.
And it wouldn't be a parade if you didn't have at least this scene somewhere along the way. But what a great job they've done in recreating and they've got bubbles coming out of the top of the mountain. I like that as well. But they recreated with tissue paper the reindeer, and it got Rudolph out front with a red nose on him. How you like that?
And they've got smoke coming out the chimney of the workshop.
And that's it. And the float is just simply entitled Humphreys County Strong, and I like that.
Wow.
And they got a raccoon, Coach. See the raccoon?
And a fox.
Got a raccoon and a fox. That's pretty cool. I think we got the queen, the homecoming queen, coming up next, Coach.
Yes, the homecoming queen is our next one.
And let's see, I think that Carrie?
Yeah, Claire Vaughn.
Claire Vaughn, yeah. And of course, she's in a Corvette, which is only appropriate for royalty, I guess. I know. You can tell Coach and I are Dodge product guys from way back.
Yeah, Dodge, yeah. And of course, you think about the vets. I think about the sinkhole that opened up in Bowling Green.
Oh, I ate all those, especially the one that was. And this is a recreation of the Grinch, the scene where the Grinch is taking off, and he is in one of the Who's.
With their nice tall who hair.
Man,
hair.
Someone did a job on that Who. That really looks like out of the cartoon. They did an outstanding job on that and everything. And again, another Humphreys County Strong float, and we appreciate those very much.
And the Grinch driving the sled.
Could you imagine how much it took to make that girl's hair look like that? That is standing straight up.
How long is it going to take her to get her hair back to normal?
I hear you.
And that's the senior float.
That's the senior float.
Aww.
It is. And we've got Southern Cleaners coming up next is our next item.
Oh, now we're back on our sheet.
We're back on track. And we appreciate it. And I would love to tell you where Southern Cleaners was located at, but I don't know. Do you know where they're located at, Coach?
I do not know. I wish I did.
Well, I do know they're rolling along in the Denali, so it must be nice money in the cleaning business and like that, but a nice vehicle overall.
Right now, it's hard to find a dry cleaners anywhere around here.
Yeah, well, talking to a guy who came out of the flood with suits, yeah, you're right. And I think what we've got, I cannot tell what we got here.
It's fairest of the fair.
Fairest of the fair? And this is the
Miss Humphreys County, Kimberly Pascal.
Right, and a nice day for a convertible. You know like that?
Oh, yes. Not raining, not snowing, although we've had fake snow behind us today.
Down home grooming. They're just get a little greeting come along, and got cool little balloons with dogs and antlers and a bunch of real puppies on the trailer in the back, which is kind of cool.
And, we're all puppy people around here.
Yeah, we like dogs, especially beagles.
Oh, yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think we've got one of the junior pro teams coming up next. Waverly Junior Pro.
Junior Pro. Go Tigers. And they've been playing their games over at the field in Jayville.
Yeah, they're on the Chargers home field there and serving that.
And there's the Grinch with them.
Grinch has been making a lot of appearances this year. And, of course, here's some more.
And here's some more Who's with their hair standing up.
Again, this is, I think, the cheerleaders from the Junior Pro organization.
That's the Junior Pro cheerleaders.
And then more team members coming up in another vehicle behind them. And now this took some time to figure. Look, and there's not a kid on this thing. And they all look like they're extras in the How the Grinch Stole Christmas scene. Very good. They got hoo pie and whistle woo and all kinds of stuff there to eat.
Roast beast.
And pretty cool. And of course the final pickup coming up along here, which was I think a Chevy, is the rest of the pro team, junior pro team.
There's a lot of kids from Johnsonville. You can tell I live in Jayville.
Yeah, I know that.
Around here, a lot of kids I recognize from Lakeview as well as Waverly kids on this Waverly Junior Pro team.
Now, Henry Bulletin has brought out his antique cars to show off here.
Oh, yeah.
And Coach, I think it's a 32 or 33, but I'm not for sure.
It just says 3 antique cars. I see one.
Yeah, well, that's all I see too, to be honest with you. Because that thing behind it ain't. Oh, there's a 57 Chevy coming up behind the pickup truck, Coach. I recognize that.
My best friend had one of those when we were in high school. And it was an old car.
Well, I got news for you, Coach. It's coming close to ancient these days.
I know. But we didn't think anything about it being an antique.
Yeah, I know. Coach, I'm having a hard time placing that lead antique car. I really am. Normally I'm pretty good at placing them, but that one's got me thrown. I mean, obviously it's a coupe with a back.
Probably a Model T coupe.
It might be.
Or A model.
It's that's what it is. It's an A. Love the small window in the back. They've modernized it and put a brake light in the back window. So, I hate to tell you this. Then this is Merry Christmas from the Bullington family, and this is not an antique truck at all, but that is a '57 Chevy, and it's not hard to recognize those at all. It's a Bel Air, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And in cherry red, nice little vehicle there. I like the antique cars, I really do.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have any fins on it.
That's true. Yeah. You got to have the fins to be really
the Santa
cool.
hat on the antenna.
Which I don't think. I think we got one of the queens coming up next, Coach.
Teen Miss Ferris of the fair.
There we go.
Abigail McKinnon.
Now, I like this. If you don't have a convertible, just sit on the back trunk of the car. Who's going to run over you?
Sitting on the spoiler.
They are sitting on the spoiler.
If I'd have done something like that to a car when I was that age, I would have been standing for about a week.
Yes, I guarantee you. And especially if you got bent at all, you're in trouble. And, Coach, this is definitely another Charger. They like purple Chargers this year.
That one looks more like a old Charger used to.
Yeah,
it's a junior high 7th grade attendance.
Yep. And that is the Humphreys County Sheriff's Department giving them escort behind it with their motorcycle. And really nice looking car there.
Marley Elliott and Carly McCleary.
And congratulations to them for doing that. And I think we're up to T&G here, which has all this
trash service.
That's right. It has all the stockings hung by the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas will soon be there. That's nice. They've recreated a fireplace in the back of a pickup truck. Now that takes some imagination there, Coach.
Nice way to cover up your trash bin on the back of the truck.
There you go. That works out well.
Did a nice job.
They really did.
And then Husberg Assembly of God.
Husberg Assembly of God up next.
You go down a long street and take a left, and they're about 1/10 of a mile on the right.
Yes, they are. And in case you're hearing the music, that is live singing, by the way. That is not recording, believe it or not. And up next, we've got a
Aubry Carmichael.
Yeah. And that looks like an old pickup truck there.
That's a 50s model, son.
From the Hillbilly Farms. Right there. Yeah. And up next, we have the
Charlie Brown with the Security Finance.
Security Finance. And Charlie's been left behind. They're running off and leaving Charlie behind. They're making him walk all the way down in the truck. And I think we got some more cheerleaders here. These are the junior high school cheerleaders.
Charlie's just avoiding Lucy.
I don't blame them. And they got the mascot. They got the Wildcat mascot here, dressed up as Santa this year as well, on the Waverly Junior High School ones. 8th. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Coach,
we've got Leah Wilson. I think she's junior high homecoming.
She was homecoming queen for 2021.
Sixth grade. Leah Oakley is with her.
And then we've got this. This is an ice truck.
The Kona Ice.
And this is the truck, one of the vending trucks that come around Humphreys County occasionally. And they have it all decked out. It's really nice.
Last 2 days you could have used some shaved ice.
Yes, we could have. Now this is a Rubicon. And if I'm not mistaken, it is a 2019 Rubicon. And it happens to be the chariot of choice for the 8th grade attendance, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, from the junior high school, yes.
And that is Stephanie Oakley and Caitlin Werfel. And also another Rubicon Jeep that has lent itself to be the...
and there's our homecoming queen, Lacey Cotham.
Right, and she's decked out in white. She's in a white Jeep. That works out real well. I think we got some more motorcycles, don't we?
One doesn't look like it's working.
Well, it's Vickers.
It's a classic Triumph, too.
It's a Vickers.
Maybe he just didn't want to wear it out.
Well, they're representing the Vickers Cycle and Salvage Motorcycle and Walkers Club. So I guess he's kind of doing both there. He's walking and riding the Vickers.
That looks like a 60 or 70 model Triumph, and those are rare beasts.
Yes, they are.
Nice.
And up next, Coach, you go out there and get a little exercise in with Studio 6.
I got enough in yesterday working with the fire department.
Studio 6 is a new fitness organization here in Waverly.
There you go. Exercise bikes.
Yeah, on the back of the trailer. Pretty cool.
See, you could put your generator on that down at the station and have it for a backup generator.
I don't think so. But this is a classic recreation of a Thunderbird. And it also is playing Chariot for, if I'm not mistaken, the preteen fairest of the fair.
Nellie Ann Martin.
Right. And the Coach, you ought to recognize this one. This is a Chevy from the 1960s.
I try to ignore Chevys. I figured out the other day what GMC stands for.
That's the circuit judge there.
Okay.
It's driving that, so you better watch
Leonard Belmars.
Belmars, yes. And these are the Shriners.
Pulled by a sheriff's car. Hey, wait a minute. That's something wrong. Shriner's supposed to have motorcycles and go-karts.
I like the way he does his compliments of Sheriff Chris Davis, the Shriners, and I like that. Yeah, they're supposed to have little motorcycles.
Well, how'd you get that big motorcycle up there? Now we've got Amber Rose, the wee Miss Fairest of the fair.
And she's coming along in a very nice Mustang convertible.
Oh, she's a little sweetheart.
Yeah. She knows the job. She's working the crowd, man.
Oh, yeah.
She is working the crowd. I like that.
She's even got the wave down.
There you go. And who we got next here, Coach?
Emerson Rourke.
And I'm not for sure what Emerson Rourke did there, other than the fact, there he is. He's a toddler miss. Yeah, fairest of the fair.
She is.
She is. And look how small she is.
She's a tiny one.
Wow.
And she's in a Nissan pickup.
We won't count. No, that's cool. That's not a problem. And I think we've got Mr. Potato Head rolling in, which is one of my favorite toys.
Yeah, they're always fun, and then they, we always, when I was little, we used real potatoes.
Well, I know that.
And then they made them out of plastic.
And these days they're making you drop the Mr. and Miss, but I refuse to do that. So, But this is Mr. Potato Head by Color Design. And right behind them is Proclean, the truck. They got all decked out for the holidays.
Lots of balloons and huge candy canes.
Yeah, I tell you what.
One of those might last us 20 minutes.
Maybe. Just depends. And following very close to them is the Vietnam Veterans truck. I bet you Wayne Wood will be on here someplace. What do you want to bet?
He's standing up in the back of the deuce and a half.
That's right. And that is a well-preserved deuce and a half, let me tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
Vietnam veterans, by the way, were very active in Humphreys County post-flood.
Oh, yes.
And they worked with a lot of veterans, both in repairing and conditioning their homes after the flood and in helping financially as well. So we want to thank and salute the Vietnam veterans, just like we did the American Legion, for doing an outstanding job. Wayne does not have a future as a receiver. He missed a toy twice.
Yeah, Todd threw that up there.
And of course, they just pop the window down and grab it in. They don't, you can swing those front windows out, and like that. And Coach, up next we've got what is that?
Courtney Wilson.
Yeah.
And he's dressed up like a baby Santa Claus.
That'll work.
And got a baby elf with him.
And up next we have ourselves more candy. Do you ever notice how popular the floats are that throw candy are with the kids?
Oh, they're popular with everybody.
So, and
this says vintage power and controls.
And Merry Christmas is what they're telling everybody. And up next, I think, is the Humphreys County Antique Tractor people here. But I don't see any antique tractors. I may be wrong on that this year.
I've got two sitting at the house.
Usually Robin Blue is out here pretty early. This is Matt Mitchell, the public defender.
So if you get in trouble, he's the one you want to know.
In a white pickup truck there, yes. And then up there. Now, Coach, identify that. That's a classic.
That's
a Charger. There you go.
That's a real Charger.
There's no
fastback.
No if, and, buts about it. That is an auto detailing service, by the way. That is cool. And they've draped a flag over the back droop on that particular Charger. Very nice.
And it's a 48-star flag.
Yes, it is. And this is Grandpa's old yellow dog. It's kind construction company, if I'm not mistaken, out of McEwen.
I think that was Matthew Mitchell and
That is a classic looking Charger, man. That is really nice.
And there's an old Mack truck.
That's a pre Duca Hazard Dodge Charger, actually.
That says DTM Auto Detailing. Oh, that was a 67 Dodge, yeah.
And this
that old truck says Grandpa's old yellow dog.
Yeah, and so there's a second truck behind it.
And that's Grandma's little red pup.
And they're part of out of McEwen. It's Durham Construction, is what that is. And look here, we got some Clydesdales, Coach.
And here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus in his horse-drawn cart.
There you go. From the Durham family farms, this is the Clydesdales. And as we've talked before in years past, their bloodline is also utilized by the real Clydesdale, the Budweiser Clydesdales. And this is Santa, of course, everybody's been waiting to see. And drawn in the white coach this year. And, of course, Coach's favorite part of the parade, which is the horses.
Really? As long as they're in the back of the parade, I love the horses.
We've got a lot of people dressed up as the Who's from Whoville and the Grinch Stole Christmas this year. So. Danelle, why don't you remind everybody once again who sponsored our coverage for the parade today?
Village Treasures on the Court Square. First Federal Bank locations in Waverly, New Johnsonville, and McEwen. Humphreys County Government, Justy Wallace, County Executive. Exit Now Realty with offices in McEwen. The City of Waverly, Buddy Frazier Mayor. First Bank on Main Street, Waverly. And State Farm Insurance agent Lynn Pascal. Thank you all for these fine sponsors for supporting today's Christmas parade.
Well, I thank everybody for coming out and making the parade such a success. I'm going to be honest with you. You never, after what we've been through the last few years, and not to mention what we just threw earlier this year, you never know what kind of turnout you're going to have. But we've had a very fine turnout, both participating in the parade and watching the parade as well. Coach, you agree?
Oh, yes. I mean, normally we get down here an hour ahead of time, and there's no problem parking. This year, the whole downtown square and about a half mile on either side of the square were full of people. My wife tells me there's going to be sales and stuff going on, I think, till about 4 o'clock today downtown.
Yeah, they're having a downtown shopping day and like that. Make sure you stop by Vintage Treasures on the Courthouse Square. They're one of our sponsors, and they wish you all a very Merry Christmas, as well as, they're starting to let traffic back out now, down 13. So we officially close out this year's coverage. We appreciate you listening to us. We love to bring the parade every year. I told somebody one time, they go, how do you do a parade on the radio? Because, how can anybody see what you're doing? I said, well, look, it's all called the picture of the mind. If you describe it well enough, they can see it in their heads. And a lot of people listen on their cell phones and like that while they watch the parade and listen to what we say and get to hear a little bit more about the floats that go by them. So we appreciate very much our sponsors who make it possible for us to bring this to you every year. Coach, I always ask you this every year. I'm going to ask it to you again. Your favorite Christmas song and why?
I love Do You Hear What I Hear?
You like that?
I love that one. My dad liked The Little Drummer Boy.
My father was the same way. He really loved The Little Drummer Boy for some reason and enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you, have been hooked ever since the first time I ever heard it, Nat King Cole's 1961 version of the Christmas song. And he actually recorded that 4 times in his career. The first time was with his trio. It was just him on a piano and the trio. But the 61 one was when he had a full orchestra behind him. That's the one most people know and just love that song. A lot of people, it's not Christmas until they hear that one.
Mm-hmm. And that's like it's not Christmas till I get to watch Scrooge. I like the classic 1930 one
with McAllister, the guy.
Yes,
I like A Christmas Story. I like that version, and then I like the little off-the-wall version that George C. Scott did in the late 70s, early 80s.
Late 70s, yes.
And George C. Scott, he did an outstanding. The people who interpreted the story was outstanding, but George C. Scott was the most believable character. When he was nasty, he was nasty, and when he turned, you could see him turn. He did an excellent job, but it's hard to find that version. I had a copy of that, but we won't talk about where it is now. But
of course, Picard did a great Scrooge too.
Did you ever hear the radio? The one man. It was a one-man production, and I had an audio version of that I thought was just fantastic. Of his version.
Now, make it so.
And then of course, everyone's favorite movie is also "It's a Wonderful Life," which we actually showed one year at the Monty Gate Theater here in downtown Waverly, and did the original version. And we showed that one year, which I think was Donna Reed's best performance in a movie, even though she starred in 3 movies with John Wayne. I'll give her that one. Jimmy Stewart was outstanding as well. But It's a Wonderful Life, a good movie as well. All right, one last question real quick. Your favorite animated Christmas special?
The Story of Santa Claus with Mickey Rooney.
I like that version. I really do. I like it when he explains when he's a kid. I like that.
And Jessica, his wife.
Yes. And the fact that he would drive the Burgermeister crazy. I thought that was pretty cool.
And the Winter Warlock.
And I have 2 on the animated side of the house. I like the claymation version of The Story of Rudolph, which was just outstanding. The music was all written by Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And
do we need to sing their song?
Yeah,
we're a bunch of misfits.
We're nothing but misfits. But seriously, Jimmy Mack wrote it. He was the guy who wrote. He wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Gave it to Gene Autry. Made a big hit. And then over the years, he wrote more than 20 different Christmas songs. They used all his, and he came in and wrote all the even the incidental music in that special. I like that. But the other one I like is one of those that's kind of off the wall, and you don't see that much very often. By the way, on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, did you know they changed the ending from the first year they showed it?
Not that I remembered.
The first year they showed Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the end of the movie was Rudolph leading the sleigh away. Well, people started writing in going, what about the misfit toys?
And then when they had to go to the aisle of misfit toys and pick them up.
And so they changed the ending to have Santa swing by, and then Rudolph the elves are seen dropping the different misfit toys off and like that. The other animated Christmas special that I always enjoy watching, but you don't get to see it that often anymore, was the original Frosty the Snowman with Jimmy Durante.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. It was awesome. I just thought it was fantastic, and I loved it because every time they put the hat on to make him Frosty Spring Drive, he'd go "Happy Birthday."
Happy birthday!
It was great. This just a wonderful one. But I like the Mickey Rooney one because and Mickey Rooney was kind of weird. Most people don't know this, but he played Santa or voiced Santa in 3 different specials.
Yes.
And then, and that one was originally introduced. If you remember that one, he was started off. The narrator was the postman, who was played by
Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire, yes. And so it was a good time. Listen, we're going into the Christmas season, and we want you to have a wonderful Christmas season. We want to take a moment and reflect. The holiday season is generally about family, and family is important. We will always note that. But it is also about a time of reflection. You know, Christmas gives us the opportunity to sit back and to ask ourselves not only what we just did with the year that's coming to an end, but what we can do with the year that's ahead. And here's the redeeming factor that is given us when we're given another chance and another year. That is, we can always make the next year better than the previous. Even if last year was great, you can still make it better. And the way to start with that is to ask the question, what can I do for others? So if you have the opportunity in this holiday season, ask yourself, what can I do for others? Having all the gifts you ever wanted under the tree are fantastic. But when you see someone who really needs something get something, it makes it even more of a year of giving. So reach out and help others as we go into a new year. Remember those who are suffering, those who are having hard loss right now. There's a lot of us who are in that boat. But let's remember, as long as there's a helping hand, there is hope, and there is always hope at the end of the way. From all of us here at WQNV, as we do every year, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and all the best in the new year. Coach, thanks for doing this with me again this year.
Enjoy it.
Appreciate it very much. Danelle, thank you. You did a good job. We want to thank our sponsors one more time.
Visit Treasure on the Court Square. First Federal Bank, locations in Waverly, New Johnsport, and McEwen. Humphreys County Government, Jesse Wallace County Executive. Exit Now Realty with offices in McEwen. The City of Waverly, our favorite Buddy Frazier Mayor. First Bank on Main Street, Waverly. And State Farm Insurance Agent Lynn Pascal. Thank you all again for sponsoring today's Christmas Parade, and have a great Christmas.
All right, till next time, my friends, take care. Got a little Christmas music coming your way for a few moments, and then some wonderful Dick Clark, Rock, Roll, and Remember coming up this evening. And as we continue to take our steps back to getting back to where we normally want to be on WQNV, we've actually gotten a lot of our programming back that we lost initially. We were able to recover a lot of that from our drive. So we got our own little Christmas gift a little early, which means we got Christmas music to play once again for you down at WQNV. Till next time around, until we see you down the road, take care, my friends. God bless, and we'll see ya next time.